Fast Freddy RC, and today we're going to start the build process of the Tamiya Neo Fighter buggy. Now I'm actually pretty excited about this because, as I said, I'm not going to be doing this box art. And if you want to know a little bit more about the car, you can click here where I do an unboxing and kind of explain a little bit about what I'm planning on doing with this. And the other thing is, if you're planning on following along with me as we build this, please do like and subscribe so you get the notifications. Because I want to start this one because I am intending on having this completely finished in the near future so that it will coincide with the racing event. And again, if you click on the above where I do the unboxing, you'll find out what I'm planning on doing. Now, before we get started, again, I will strongly recommend that you pick yourself up a full set of ball bearings. Now, this car does come with oil-filled shocks and a torque-tuned motor. Now, depending on where you pick yours up, it may or may not have that, but my understanding, and Dirk from RC Birds was talking about this, that in Germany they actually have this car available with the extra hop-up parts because they're trying to inspire more kids to get going on RC. So I think it's very cool that those parts are coming with it. The only little thing that's missing is these ball bearings, and honestly, this is really something you should have as your first tune-up before you even start building the car, that full set of ball bearings. So I thought for this video what we do is let's go through the manual and just see what we're going to be dealing with here. Now I won't go through all of this, I've done that before in previous videos, so what we'll do is we're going to start back here. Now here's step one, charging the battery pack. As you know, I just don't do that first usually. I just wait until I know that we're going to be needing that in the steps. Now step two, it looks like we're actually going to be applying sponge tape to the bodywork. And it's interesting because a lot of kits normally start off with the rear end and the rear gearbox and putting that all together. We're not with this kit. We're going right into the bodywork, and we're having to get all of the sponge tape put in preparation for the battery that's going to be inside there. So since we have to put all the pieces together in step three, that all had to be done first. So then in step four, we're going to be attaching the front stays. In step five, we're going to be working on the servo saver and putting the servo in with the little box that needs to be attached to the chassis. And then in step six, we've got checking the RC equipment. So we're doing this pretty much right off the bat, so I may end up charging the battery after all because this is coming up quite quickly. And then we're going to move into step 7, which is attaching the steering rods. And then in 8, we're going to be attaching the steering servo. And it's an interesting placement. As it says on the box, it's a 25-degree angle. So it's supposed to be better in terms of the stability and just how that's all going to work. And then step 9, the front lower arms, we're going to be putting those together. In step 10, we're going to attach the front lower arms to the chassis. Very cool. And then in 11, we're going to be attaching those front arms. And then in 12, we're going to be working on the front axles. And then 13, we're going to attach those front axles. So it's actually taken us 13 steps before we start working on the gearbox. And like I said, in a lot of beginner vehicles, the gearbox comes up pretty much right away. But we're starting this process in step 14. And then in 15, we're going to attach the counter gear, get that all put into the gearbox. In step 16, it's the gearbox step, so we're going to be putting it all together. And then in 17, we're going to work on the spur gear and get the motor mount and that all ready to go. And then in 18, we're going to be attaching the motor and making sure that the pinion is set correctly. And then in 19, we're going to attach the gear cover. And 20, we're going to attach the rear lower arms. In 21, we're going to attach the rear upper arms. And moving on to step 22, we're going to attach those rear axles. Very, very cool. And then in 23, we're going to attach the receiver switch. And it's interesting because the design for this is that the on-off switch is actually placed up above, right where the wing is, which I think is going to be for ease of being able to get to it. Now, I don't know how that's all going to work with the Hobbywing one, because Hobbywing and Tamiya use a different setup. We may have to put it in a different place, but we'll see. Then in 24, we're going to attach the gearbox. So there's these pieces that are going to help with that. And you can see then we are going to drop it onto the body, and then we'll start attaching it to the chassis. Then in 25, we're going to do the damper assembly. This won't apply because we have oil-filled shocks with this kit, because like I said, this comes with the oil-filled dampers. So we'll be skipping that and working on it a different way. So in essence, those two are going to be skipped. And then in 26, we're going to attach those damper stays. And then in 27, we're going to attach the dampers, as you can see here. And in 28, we're going to attach the RC unit. So get that all in place. You can see how that's all going to fit into the chassis. And of course, there's that little box that's going to go over the receiver to help keep the dirt out. And then in 29, we're going to be working on the wheels. Very cool. And 30, we're going to attach the wheels, both front and back. And then in 31, we're going to install the battery pack, which is placed longitudinally, which should actually give it more stability. And from some of the videos that I've seen, it does look like it means that if the car's jumping, it'll actually be a lot more stable in the air and land better. And in 32, we're going to be attaching the wing. And 33, we're going to be attaching the body. And of course, as I've mentioned, this body is going to look completely different to what you see here, and it will not be box art. I'm saving the reveal of what this is going to be until it's finished. I would prefer to do that because I think it'll be so cool once you get to see it. Anyways, that is it. Just some other info, but we don't need to go through that. So that is the overview. And again, if you want to see more of this, be sure to check out the unboxing video. And if you're intending on following along with the build, do please like, subscribe, comment. Let me know how things are going with your build. And we will see you in that next video, where we'll start step 1.